Yo, 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 it is another episode of SelzSpeaks podcast. You already know what it's about. It's all about bringing impact, love, joy, knowledge, experiences to the people. I got my homie here, Myrna, talk to the
What's
people.
up? What's up? Hi, everybody. Can't wait.
Listen, so I always call her the bestie because we always have fun, good conversations. And I was like, man,
Yes.
listen, her mouth is super crazy, but she does drop knowledge. And I was like, it would be awesome to bring her onto the podcast. So we made it happen. Got a
Yes.
different vibe this time. The mic set up, the two-person camera angles. We doing our thing. We doing our
Ooh,
thing.
excited.
So if you haven't already, I want you guys to like, subscribe, share with your friends, whether you listen on audio, whether you're watching on the YouTube, please, youtube.com, SELZJP, SelzJP. Find me on IG, find me on YouTube, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. And so let's get into it. Man, how you doing today? Talk
How
to the
you doing?
people.
I'm excited to be here. I'm so proud of you, first and foremost.
You know.
This is definitely an experience, but every time I get caught up with him, things happen, things are said. So, hey, I'm just going to let it flow.
All right, and then if it's my understanding, this is your first podcast, right?
First one.
All right, so I'll just tell you like I tell everybody else, relax, don't feel the need to talk too fast, and just be yourself.
Cool. Be myself.
Bad.
Dangerous.
So give us an idea into what's going on in your life. I know there was a million things you was
Ooh.
talking about behind the scenes, but what's the thing that is really taking your center of attention right now these days?
There's so many of them,
Mm-hmm.
but one that's been like tugging at me, it's vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when somebody has done you wrong
Mm-hmm.
and life is just turning around and you gotta assist and be present for that person now. How do how do you act? Because for me, the first thing that I see or think about is all the wrong that you've done to me.
Right,
So
right.
I just want to use that, that moment to just maybe allow you to experience all the pains that you make me go through, But then you got to sit down and think, is it worth it? And right now, it's worth it.
See, I feel like when it comes to that topic, it's such an interesting one because it's
It
like
is.
it depends on your world perspective, right? So if you are
Right.
coming from like a Christian perspective, you're supposed to turn the other cheek and be this nice person, etc.
Gosh.
And it's like sometimes when you be dealing with human beings,
Yeah.
I've noticed that it's when you do the bad thing
Exactly.
that people tend to react faster. Like perfect example is the other day I went to I bought something using my credit card or whatever.
Yeah.
So when I call the people, I'm like, yo, it wasn't a purchase that I meant to make.
Mhm.
Can we just deal with it, whatever? They
Yeah.
told me 3 times, hey, we can't help you, we can't do anything for you. And so the fourth time I turned my Caribbean on and I got upset and I was like, I'm not accepting it. And then after telling me 3 times they couldn't do nothing,
They
it was
did
the
it.
fourth time when I got
Right.
upset and
Mhm.
didn't get right that they finally got it together. And
Mhm.
you kind of see that same instance when it comes to relationships. Guys always be like, they could be super sweet to a girl. And when they're the jerk, that's when everything
Whew.
comes together.
Yes.
But I feel like in the context you're talking about, like, well, we talking relationships, we talking parent, sibling kind of thing. What's up?
I'm thinking, you know what? Now that you just kind of switched it on me, I think that it's everything, to be
Mhm.
honest with you. And you mentioned something that like irks me for the most part is the Christianity. Not, of course, I'm a Christian
Mhm.
because I believe in Jesus Christ. I follow him and all that. But I'm not gonna hide behind the idea that because I'm a Christian, I have to turn the other cheek.
Right.
Although, to some respect, yes, I understand the concept behind it, right? We're teaching love, we're teaching, how to behave with one another, love one another and
Mhm.
all of that. But then there's the true fact of the matter is when somebody has really, really hurt you, like
Right.
to your core, you can't take that away. Now you can't say as a Christian, I'm gonna use that first and be like, well, as a Christian, I'm not gonna go ahead and allow you to, hurt me. I'm gonna project love. That's not true. That is so not true. Some people may be able to,
Mhm.
personally for me there's a part of life where you're just tired,
Mhm.
and whether it's relationship, parenting, you just want them to feel, you know
What they did to
what
you.
they've done to you. I
Mhm.
mean, you are a human being, that a lot of your decision making, actions, choices in life is a result of what they've done. And so
Right.
when you are put in a position to where now you can make them feel what you've gone through, like, I think that, not to say that it's good, I know it's something I need to work on,
Mhm.
I admit it, but yo, I mean, at the end of the day, I want you to feel what you've done to me.
So how do you balance? Okay, so if you're fighting back, making them feel what you felt,
Mm-hmm.
what are you actually doing instead?
If I'm fighting it back,
Yeah, so like for example, you know what I mean? So give us more about your situation. So you saying you saying this feeling. What is that? Tell the story.
all
If
right,
you
cool. Let me
comfortable.
tell you. Let me tell you. So I'm not really fighting it back right now, and
Okay.
it's not a good thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't want nobody jumping down my
Hey, listen,
throat.
we all human, we all got our things.
But I'm fighting it, but at the same time, I'm enjoying it, and it's not a good thing again.
Right.
But I have a parent that a stepfather of mine. We didn't have the best experience together. It wasn't love at first sight, let's put it that way. It wasn't like a father-daughter experience that most would love to have. But it's come to a situation where he is not feeling well, and so as a result, now I have to show this person love. I had to assist, for respect for my mom. I have to give this person love. But man, it's not easy because in one sense, you're like, yo, this like life is crazy how it turns back around, right? But in another sense, you're like, he's asking questions and you heard it, but I'm like, I'm not answering it. I mean, or you telling me, not that I'm not abusing anybody.
Yeah, right.
I'm not doing anything like that, but it's just that you're sitting down and you're like thinking to yourself, man, the Diary of a Mad Black Woman is coming back.
Right.
If you've seen this movie, and you're like, you kind of want him to experience a little bit of what he made you go through. And it's, what's sad? It's not even necessarily that they're going to feel it, because they may have not even known it.
Right.
But because we didn't take the time to have the conversation in the time that it mattered, now that it doesn't really matter, it's like you feel like you have this upper hand. But then it's kind of I could say it to myself, it's kind of a weak way of approaching things. It's like, beating at somebody that's already fallen, right? So are you really strong at it? But at the end of the day, it's just the emotion that comes behind it. It's the memories that comes with it. And I'm telling myself, like, I can't believe I'm here doing these things right now for you, right? And you did me so dirty, and so many times, and it's not just 1 year or 2 years. It's like lifetime, and now I have to sit down and just like help you.
So is it like every time you see him,
Yeah.
every time you see him, you kind of, it's hard to see him now. You kind of see him in the past.
I see him in the past. I don't see him as the present. I see him as like all the images that are coming is all the nasty words, the arrogance, the this prideful man, and I don't see this sick person, this weak person coming at me right now. I'm just seeing that person that was doing wrong, that was giving me hurt. But I do have to say that sometimes I just sit down and tell myself, all right, cool, like, listen, it's not worth it at this point, like, is it gonna change anything? It's not gonna change anything. And then who am I causing harm at this point? Even if it wasn't to myself, because I may not give a damn at this point, but my mom is watching me. How is she feeling about the way I'm treating her husband? I don't care if she don't really care for him at the moment. I don't care if she has hurt herself, but me as a person, like, is that something I want to carry? And then if things will go to worse, where let's just say he don't make it, am I gonna regret my actions? These are talks that I'm having with myself to be able to alleviate that feeling. But I think that it's not just because he instilled pain, it's because it came from my own father. It came from past relationships. So when you start having like a number of people that have done you wrong, you feel like, yo, I just want to scream loud enough for people to know I don't want nobody messing around with me. And it could carry on to new relationships too, where I'm like, look, I may have been this person. I may have a lot of good, aspect, like good traits of me. But I'm also transforming into this new person too. And I'm letting you know you can't walk all over me again. So I think that this is my way of doing it in this particular season scenario, because it's accessible to me.
So does it even now become like this person it's not even just them, and it's not even just the things that they did in the past. It becomes like everybody who walked all over me, everybody who took advantage of me, everybody. Like you the only person I can deal with right now, so you probably gonna have to bear the brunt of that. So that's really what you battling.
Yeah, I'm talking about it now. Therapy and talking. No, honestly.
So let me. So then, what because I mean that's a lot of vitriol and a lot of, we could say
Yeah.
trauma
Yeah.
that you really juggling. So how do you not go off? Because there's a lot of people, definitely a
Whew.
bunch of people watching and listening right
Yeah.
now who have been in a situation like, I've heard of stories, for example, of people who've been molested, whether
Hmm.
it be my family members, parents,
Yeah.
etc., etc. And then later on in life, they are taking care of that same exact person.
Ooh.
And so it's like when
Gosh.
and listen, I'm not gonna try to pretend that this is my area of expertise. I know when to
Right.
stay in my lane. You know what I
Right.
mean? This is something that I've seen from a distance. I've
Mm.
I've seen people who experience it, I've seen people who go through it. But it's like I ask you two questions. What why do you even feel the need to be better,
Ooh.
the better person? Why should you be? Cause we could argue they don't deserve it.
They don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even an argument, it's a fact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They don't deserve it.
Right.
Um, I think for me is because I'm trying to think about what I want to accomplish in the future. And so is
Mm-hmm.
that part of my resume? Is that what I want to have? Part of my resume.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to say am I going to feel accomplished by doing that? The
Mm-hmm.
answer is no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do they deserve it? Absolutely not. They
Right.
don't. And there was never a moment of saying I'm sorry or apologizing for
You
it.
didn't even
So
get it right.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like recognizing that they did wrong. So do they deserve it? No. I think that in a sense they deserve whatever's coming to them. You're
Mm-hmm.
right. We always talk about what comes around goes around, but I feel like some people want to take it when it's only for good things,
Right,
right? But they
right,
forget that
right,
the way you treated someone,
right.
careful,
It comes
because you
back.
don't know what their tomorrow is gonna look like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and who's gonna have to take care of you. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But I think for me it's because I just have so much more that I want to accomplish, and I
Mm-hmm.
just don't want to have that to my name. I
I
think.
feel like kind of just always observing these conversations from these situations from a distance.
Yeah.
It's like, and it kind of happens in every realm of life, whether it
Mhm.
be relationships, finances, whatever it is, that and I say especially if you're a believer, only because when you believe in
Mhm.
God, you have a certain level of self-awareness.
Yes.
Meaning that when you go through things, when you go through certain situations, circumstances, there is a purpose to them. Right? Because
Mhm.
we as Christians believe that all things that we go through work together for our
Yes.
good.
Yes.
So now when we get into a car accident, we have the faith and hope that this will lead to a good. So like
Mhm.
now, even when you're in a situation where you have to deal with someone who hurt you so much, you know, and I'm not saying it's limited to the Christian paradigm,
Mhm.
but because of the Christian paradigm, I feel like it's like, okay, you look at the situation and say, okay, here is here is this test, right? And I
Mhm.
like how you said you're working and you're building towards something, right?
Right.
And we could say it's like you're building yourself into a person,
Right.
and that person that you want to be isn't the person that you are now,
Correct.
and that person that you want to be has the traits and the qualities, and the only way you ever become that person is
Mhm.
by gaining those
Mhm.
qualities or
Mhm.
exercising those traits. And so now here is your first test of, okay, well, it's one thing to say I'm forgiving, but now you are actually in a space of like,
For
hey, forgiveness is not
yeah.
just I forgive, it's
Mhm.
actually living that,
Right.
right? And so now here you are with a
Mhm.
person who is your perpetrator, the person who's harmed you,
Correct.
and every single day, right?
Mhm.
Every single day is another test of, okay, are you going to learn unconditional love? Are you going to really show this person grace?
Yes, and that's the thing, man. Like on the real, you know how we talk about those Bible verses, and you mentioned that,
Mm-hmm.
right? That everything happens for a reason, and
Yeah.
all things will turn out to be good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, do we sit down and analyze the situation that happened and that
Mm-hmm.
occurred? And
Mm-hmm.
it's not just sitting down thinking that it's gonna just happen good by
Right.
itself
Right.
either.
Right.
I think that there's work that needs to be done. I think that I'm gonna give you an example. I could be an alcoholic,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I drink alcohol every day and I get drunk every single day.
Mm-hmm.
But until, like you mentioned, we were talking about that, until you recognize that you are an
Right.
alcoholic
Right. Right.
and now you get healed from it or you go to rehab, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is that you
Mm-hmm.
got to do,
Mm-hmm.
AA
Mm-hmm.
meetings, then you use that experience and then you help other people. You let them know that, yo, you could go through it, you could conquer it.
Right.
I feel like that's what it means to me now that
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through what I'm going through. That's what it means. It's not just I sat down and I was drinking and then it just turned out
Mm.
to be good.
Right. Right.
I think that I was telling you that, you know how you could reset your phone, but then there's a manufacturer
Yeah, yeah,
reset.
yeah,
I feel like God is literally doing the
yeah.
manufacturer
Right.
reset with me.
Right.
So it's almost like stripping everything that I
Mm,
ever knew and I ever had and I ever thought like I known and how I
right.
used to react, think.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and my subconscious of things that I wanted to do that I didn't do because I didn't
Mm,
want to feel like, okay, maybe that person is gonna look at me
right,
differently,
right,
right? So
right,
now
right.
it's just like I'm at a point where I have no choice
Mm,
to experience me.
yeah.
I'm not experiencing you, your testimony. I'm experiencing me.
Mm-hmm,
I'm
mm-hmm.
not just reciting Bible verses. I'm actually applying them. I'm not
Mm,
just saying, okay, I'm not just, I do praise and
yeah,
worship.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not even like getting on stage no more and singing a song that I had to
Right.
learn. And now it's like, man, I've been singing these songs for years. And now I'm like, oh shoot, I had to
Live
live
it.
it.
Yep, yep.
I have to recognize. I have to use the words and apply it to my life. Like
Mm.
I don't want
And
to.
tell me that's not way harder.
Let me tell you something. It's not even way harder. I don't even want to do it. Yo, it's to the point that they're like, so, you go on stage and you do it. I'm like, listen, I do it for the people.
Mm,
I'm here to encourage. But
yeah,
in reality, it's not true.
yeah.
I'm literally encouraging myself. I'm
Right,
talking
right,
back to myself. And it's
right.
so easy to tell somebody, don't do this, don't do that,
Mm-hmm,
act like
mm-hmm.
this, act like that. But then
Yeah.
now when you gotta point your finger back at you
Mm,
and you have to hold yourself accountable,
right.
man, it's not the same because nobody's watching you. You
Mm,
understand? There's nobody there to say, oh, did you see what you just did? It was
yeah,
wrong. Now
yeah.
it's literally like you fighting with your own conscience of, I want to like demolish this man right now. Like if I could just punch you right in the face, I could.
Right,
Nobody
right,
would even believe you
right,
because you're
right.
already delusional.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I know that I can't. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
right.
I know that I can't because it's gonna, even after all of this is gone, I'm gonna sit down and
And you
think
got to
about,
deal with your
and I gotta deal
actions.
with me. I don't
Mm.
need to deal with more. Like
I,
I have enough,
I don't think people realize like singing in church, preaching, that's the
man.
easy part.
Easy.
Like
Talk about what?
when you go in, like you using my own experiences of
Yeah.
when I would go play for church, it's like that was the easy part. When that joy got real for me, and I think
Hmm.
when really decided, all right, I'm gonna follow God, I gotta change my life.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, 23, I decided I become celibate, and literally January 1st, I made the decision to be celibate. The very next day, I got crazy offers to
Woo.
do
Of
wild and
course.
nasty
Of
things,
course.
and it was like we gonna see if you really about what you said you was about.
So did you? Did
No,
you?
no, not at all, not at all, not at all. I did. Listen,
Okay.
I'm not gonna say for the 5 years that I was celibate because I
Yeah.
went from celibacy to marriage. So I'm not gonna say those 5 years I was perfect, but I
Right.
did not sleep with nobody. I
Correct.
didn't. But I will say in that time period
Mm.
was when I got offered
The
and
most.
invited into a lot of
Yeah.
legs that when I was trying to,
It
or
wasn't
quote unquote,
happening.
I mean, it happened, but it wasn't as easy as it was when I wasn't trying.
Yeah.
When I wasn't trying, it was just like left and right and just this. I mean, I've told you the stories, and
Yeah.
we not gonna go there because that's not the point of this. But
Right. Right.
it's like when you're trying to be better,
Yeah.
the opportunity to go in the opposite direction just becomes so easy and so apparent. And it's something that you said that I love. You was like, you had moments where you kind of sat with yourself
Yeah.
and you was able to kind of look at yourself and be like, yo, this is not who I'm trying to be. And
Mm-hmm.
when did that level of self-awareness happen? Like how does that even happen for you?
So, as you know, I'm going through my divorce and
Mm-hmm,
stuff
mm-hmm.
like that or whatever. And I think that for me, it was so when I was in my marriage, meaning when I was in physically in the home with that
Mm-hmm,
person,
mm-hmm.
I was so caught up in trying to, fix whatever the situation was that I
Mm-hmm.
was completely lost and
Mm-hmm.
I was not there.
Yeah.
I was operating, I was moving, but I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So when I got that time apart where I'm now alone and single,
Yeah.
I had to reflect. I had to think. And it was
Mm.
just recently. I could say I think let me tell you what happened for me to wake up. All right, let me tell
Mm-hmm.
it. And those that know, they're gonna laugh because I'm sure they're gonna be watching this.
Yeah.
So I have two great friends of mine that they were just looking at me, and I'm thinking I'm going to a friend house just to be at my friend house and just to chill.
Yeah,
So I get there, and the next thing you know, another friend comes up. I'm like, all right, cool. What's going on here? Like, what kind of therapy session is about to happen? They're
Slick
like,
in the vet shit.
let me tell you. They said, listen, Myrna, I'm so tired of like stepping on your feet, on your face. I'm like, I feel like now what he's doing is just tap dancing. Like, oh, Myrna, where
Yeah.
are you? And then there you are. And it hit me. And I'm like, what? Just like, yo, it's like you're no better than a rag on the floor and you're letting people
Wow.
tap dance
Yeah,
on you.
yeah.
And when they said that, I was like, I was so shocked because I was, again, Christian world. God can fix everything. God can restore everything. There's nothing that's impossible to him, which is completely true.
Right.
However, it's not my time.
So
You know?
before we come on, and don't lose that thought.
Right.
Do you feel like you kind of fell into this place where you were so focused on loving unconditionally that you started tolerating unconditionally?
Yes. Wow, man, that's deep.
Yeah, I tell people unconditional love is not
Yeah.
unconditional tolerance.
Correct.
Because people think just because you love someone unconditionally, you're just going to accept everything that they do. And I feel like with Christians, it's even worse because we don't know that line,
No,
right?
we don't.
So it's like even in a situation you're talking about where you're taking care of your stepfather and he's done you all these wrongs, and now you're in the place of, okay, now I'm going to show him unconditional love. It's like I guess in that specific situation, it's not much really to tolerate because
Right.
he can't do nothing. So
Correct.
it's really more of a test for yourself. But now when you're in a relationship, it's different.
You know what? When you talk about loving unconditionally, right? I think what's scary for some of us is that if I placed a mirror in front of me, in front of you, in front of anybody, that same love wouldn't be there.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying?
Say that again.
It wouldn't be there. So as I'm gonna be loving this other being that don't even have that same love for me, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's okay. And I'll tolerate. But think about this. Love unconditionally, put a mirror, I can't do it. But tolerating it, I'll put a mirror and I could do it. I could tolerate all the nonsense that I'm doing to myself.
Yeah.
I could literally look at myself like depleting myself and not even recognizing who I am, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm loving this person unconditionally, but I
Right.
don't even know how to do it to myself. So when they showed me what I look like, I was like, oh my God.
So it was really your friends.
It was.
Having
And this is why your circle is so important.
Right.
So important. And it was two good friends. I mean, when they did it, and let me tell you, they were like so dramatic with it. They were, and every time we see each other, they're like, Myrna, where are you? And they'll look.
So they didn't even try to be gentle with it unless you
no
got
gentleness. No, you're not gentle with me when you have a conversation with me. So I'm not expecting anybody. They'll be stepping, and I said, I don't want nobody stepping on my face no more. And let me say, it's not that I'm there yet.
Yeah.
I'm literally in a process right now, and it's
yeah.
a daily, not even daily. It's by second.
Yeah.
And I could be. I could be in this moment and I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And then I sit down home and I'm watching what's happening and I'm like, I can't believe I'm here. I'm like, God, for real? Like, you're on a trip mode. Like, for real, you're going to put me back in this situation. But it's almost like he's saying, well, yeah. I'm putting you back where it all started. Because when she could tap onto that element, and when you could find love and forgiveness and compassion, then we could go somewhere else with this. Yeah. So then I feel like it's gonna start there, and then after that, it's gonna move on to possibly like meeting people that hurt me face to face. And you know what's crazy? I was going to Walmart recently, and I saw my in-laws, my ex-in-laws, from my first marriage when I was younger. I don't call it marriage. I don't even know what it's called because literally
a deep situation.
Right. I was what, 17 years old, and then you get pregnant, whatever. Yeah. So and then I saw them. I said, okay, God, now what's happening?
And that's recently.
That's your.
So
recently.
you already dealing with the stepfather, not the
the old ones too.
Man,
at that,
you going through something. I better be careful before you rub it off on me. God, we good over here.
I said, let me tell you. my daughter's gonna be 21 years old.
Yeah.
I've raised her pretty much, in a sense alone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Meaning her, father wasn't present.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm like, what's happening?
Mm-hmm,
Like,
mm-hmm.
guy, you just shifting everything, and it's like you making me. So and let me tell you what happened. I was walking away. I was like, yo, let me just. They can't.
And that's
see
the
me.
first time you seen him since how long?
She was 2 years old, so about 18 years now. No, that's a lie. Cause she was a newborn baby when I took her to them, and I hadn't seen them afterwards. She was probably probably 1 or 2
So
years old.
you haven't seen it for 20 years, and they live in Orlando, Florida.
And that's why I moved away from Orlando. Now my butt is back in Orlando. I got no choice.
So God bringing you right back to the
Yo,
roots.
manufacture reset. Wow. I'm literally being reset on like nothing. I'm being put spot clean.
Right.
And I hate it.
But you know what though? And this is not to be preachy.
Right, I got you.
But there's a beautiful thing in what you're going through.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in coincidences, right? And so that means, because I'm sure right now, the things that you're praying for, the things that you're asking for, God always either says yes, no, or not right now.
Right.
But if he's bringing you through this process, and the process is taking you back to the roots, to the beginning of unhealed trauma, because when it's healed trauma, there's nothing to visit, but it's the unhealed trauma that it's like, all right, I'm gonna give you a second round to deal with these things, because where we're gonna go, you can't bring that along. And here's the thing that people don't realize: you can you can bring your unhealed trauma to your higher heights, but that's what will destroy you. So like, porn addicts become massively successful all the time.
Right.
But now you have massive amounts of money and you have massive amounts of sex. And so just staring at a screen of porn for 8 hours a day turns to blowing your money on prostitutes, on drugs, on cocaine, on women. And so it's more destruction because you have more means to destroy yourself. And now when you fall, it ain't just, okay, you wasted 8 hours in your room so nobody knows. No, it's a global like headline, such and such person found with, like I think
suicide
right.
or something.
Yeah. Or like that other day, that black governor, Gilliam or whatever. I think when they found him with a male prostitute. Yeah, it's like, okay, so there were demons that you didn't deal with when you were at a lower level and you tried to elevate, but you never got rid of those demons. So I think the beauty is, it's like, God it's almost like that Jacob process, right? If you think about it, every character in the Bible goes through that, where it's just like, all right, look, I'm going to take you here and you're going to get there for the most part, regardless of what happens. But I'm trying to take you there and keep you there.
Exactly. Joseph and his brothers.
That's it. Yep. A perfect example I think about is Samson. Samson had the strength from day one, right? You got your gifts from day one.
Yeah.
You're going to get to that level. Samson got to his level. But what killed him and brought him down from grace was you never dealt with those demons with the women and da-da-da-da-da. So I think in your situation, it gets exciting because it's like, yo, all I got to do is just do what I know I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And the beauty is, it's like you got the awareness for it.
You know what? I think because now I want to be for whoever God has in store for me. I want to be this, like, not just whole person. Much more than that. Like, I want to be able to, like, fulfill whatever fantasy that person has, that this is why I'm okay with going through what I'm going through. Now, it doesn't mean that it makes it easier. Because like I was saying, I think I was telling you that when I tried to avoid it, when I got into the store, I tried to avoid them. I saw her come out the car, man. Let me tell you, I ran so fast. I was like, yo, oh no. I was like, yo, Myrna, just go. Because first of all, I'm like, who's going to come out the car next? Because am I going to be facing him too?
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, yo, Buck, like, go. And so I tried. And as I was trying, I promise you, it was like an inner voice was like, no, turn around.
Ooh, conviction.
And then I was like, man, you ain't gonna tell me nothing right now. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, Jesus, if it's you today, I'm not listening. I just kept going. And it was like, and I couldn't even make it past the produce aisle.
Wow.
It was like, no, you're gonna turn around. And you know what's crazy? They stood, like, wherever they were standing, they didn't move.
Oh, wow.
Until I turned around. And I don't know what the heck she was doing. I was like, yo, can you just, like, walk in the other
just
direction?
Make it easy for me to avoid you.
It was almost like God was holding her still until I obeyed. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then I turned around. And I got to walk back because, I ran away from her. So I'm walking back and she sees me. She's like, and she starts crying.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like,
Mind you, this is my first time hearing this, and I tell
Right. I
Tara
didn't
all the
even get a
time.
chance to tell you. Right. So she starts crying. So I'm like, okay. She's like, oh my gosh, you go to that, because of
Yeah,
course I gained weight and
yeah,
everything. And she's like, giving me a hug. I'm giving her a hug.
yeah.
And it was weird because when I gave her a hug, I felt like a sense
Like you
of
letting something go.
yes, man. I was like, oh
Mm,
shoot, what just happened?
mm,
And she hugged me and she was like, you know what? You did a great you did a good thing. Like she was telling me about how things hadn't changed, with,
mm.
with him and everything like that. And I was just like,
They tried to update you. You still in your mind like, oh my God, what am I doing here?
right, right.
Because
And
this is 20 years.
yeah,
That's
yo, I
crazy.
was like, first of all, what's happening?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, God, like for real? But she's holding me, and then I'm waiting for now the father to come.
Uh-huh.
So now both of them see me. And now they're like, oh my gosh, how are you? And so I don't even know. I put my daughter on the
Yeah, yeah,
phone. So
yeah,
she's like,
yeah.
hi. And she's like, who are you? Type of thing. And
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, these are your grandparents. Like, hi.
Yeah.
So it was like this weird, experience, but it was so needed because
Mhm.
I felt like, okay, I didn't do too bad. Like I
Um,
I I may not be doing good right now,
yeah.
but I'm not stuck. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mhm.
was hearing that this person is still stuck. Where for
Mm.
me, I had my highs, I had my lows,
Mhm.
but I think it's all part of my journey and it's okay. When I
Mhm.
got home, I was so afraid to tell my mom.
Oh.
And then I was like, so I think I waited like the next day.
Mhm.
And I'm like, Mom, you wouldn't believe what happened. I said, how about I just move on this side of town now with you? Not only do I have to deal with this thing at home, I
Ah.
go to Walmart. I said, what are the odds? Because they don't even live
Right.
on that road. Like they live on the other side. They're like probably they have a Walmart by them or something. So why would they
Oh.
come on this side,
Yeah,
right? What are
yeah,
the
yeah,
odds?
yeah.
And so my mom just looked at me like, whoa, that's crazy. I said,
Mhm.
yeah. I said, okay. That's when I realized that, okay, something is happening. In the
Mhm.
spiritual realm, God is
Yeah,
doing something
yeah,
with me.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that I accepted it at that moment.
Mhm.
And this is why I said, okay, now let me face me.
Right,
But
right.
you could be like your biggest enemy, and I heard it so many times,
Mhm.
you being your biggest enemy. But let me tell you something. Like I'm my biggest enemy. As I'm talking to you about it, like I'm having a revenge with myself.
Mm.
Like it's not even like with somebody else. It's like me revenging 18-year-old me,
Mm.
17-year-old
It's
me.
like we was talking about, like you sit there and you are so eager to give unconditional love to other
Yeah.
people, and yet you tolerate the worst from yourself
Mm-hmm.
when it really should be reversed, where you
Yeah.
also show unconditional love to yourself.
Right. Right.
So it's like, so what's that relationship like with you now and you then?
Man. What's the
Keep it a
relationship?
buck. Keep
I'm
it a
trying to
buck.
think. I'm trying to think. Yo, you throwing things at me.
Like when you cause you said that
Whew.
feeling of vengeance. So is it almost like you want to just go like, young you, what were you thinking? Why would you? Is that the vibe, or is it like,
If I could kill and erase that part of me,
oh,
I think I would have. If I could.
why so?
Because I'm telling myself, how stupid were you? And how dumb were you that you allowed these things to happen to
But
you?
that's unfair
Mm,
because look at where you are now. You what, more than 20 years old? No, 20 years older, right? About, give or take.
yeah.
So 20 years older. Don't look it. No offense. No offense.
Yeah.
So you're 20 years older. You're so much more experienced. You've seen so much more life. You're way
Mm,
wiser, and you know so much more. So it's like to look back at, teenage, naive, innocent, don't know much you. Because it's so funny.
mm,
When we were teenagers, we thought
yeah.
we knew so much. We
We
thought we were
did.
smart.
We
Because
did.
granted, you know some adults that are dumb. And then you get
Yeah.
older
I
and then
was that some adult that was dumb.
so, but think
You know?
about this though, like if you're smart at 17, and even if you're 17 and smarter than some 30-year-olds, you're
Yeah.
only gonna get smarter.
Right.
So what ends up happening is you at 30, and we're not even comparing nobody to anybody, but if you're smart at 17, you at 30 gonna be smarter, and you're always gonna
Mm-hmm.
look back at 17-year-old stuff and be
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, because I remember me at 17, I was pretty wise. I felt like I was, and I was
Right.
told I was wise all the
Right.
time. But now at 30 years old, I look back like, bro, you could have done this.
Right.
But
Right.
it's cheating.
I
Because
don't.
I got
Is
the answer
it?
to the test.
Did you?
I went through it all.
Did you?
From 17 to 30, 33. I lived that part.
Do you really think you did though?
Did I what?
That you lived through it? Let me tell you why I say that.
Okay.
Okay, you know how they talk about healing in the trauma, healing trauma, whatever
Yeah,
the
yeah,
story may
yeah.
be. I choose to say I'm not gonna use it as a crutch.
Okay.
But are you truly healed from it? Because it's always gonna be something that triggers it.
That's true.
Now you may not respond to it the way you need it, the way you used to, and I
Yeah.
think that that's where the healing aspect come from.
Okay. Okay.
But it never goes away.
It doesn't go away. And I think this is where we talk about, remember we was talking about off camera, we was talking about taking ownership of things, right?
Right, right.
And so because of just how I'm built, and I think it's a combination of how I was raised. Like my dad was very just in your face about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when it, like, give an example, if I had to play for the choir, if I played good, all right, you played good. If I played bad, it wasn't
You
like
played bad.
we don't have a conversation about it.
Right.
No. It's magnified. This was horrible. You missed this chord. You missed this. So it was like intense accountability for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a result, I ended up starting to be that way with myself, where it was intense accountability about everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if and it's to the point where
But you're still like that to some extent.
I'm very much like that.
Right.
It's to the point now where sometimes if I'm playing certain places, I may do something wrong on purpose just to see if the people around me will say something.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I'll know in my environment, like, okay, these are people around you who will check you if you did something wrong, or they'll just go along with everything you say. And I don't like being around yes people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll even ask people like, hey, actually, I'm working on this now. I don't think the people at my new church watch my podcast, but they will one day. But I'm planning on doing it now,
Yeah.
where I say, hey, I've been here for almost 3 months. What is it I could work on? What am I not doing better? What can I improve? So kind of always being that way throughout, that 17 to now, I mean, I'm always like, okay, is this some point? I'm like that with my marriage with my kids, man. I be beating myself up all the time because I feel like I can manage my time better to do more things with my children and be a better father, et cetera, et cetera. So I say that to say, like, that example of when you gave with your friends and they were like, yo, boom, 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 da, 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 da. Like, I don't have that circle as much because I'm usually that person for people.
Correct.
But I'm also that person for myself too, which is good and bad. And I think where you were talking about the fact that the trauma's there and you develop different responses to it. I think it's like, I think the easiest way to navigate it is think about the things that you want, right? And think about the things that you want to accomplish. And when you look at the end of your life, it's like, okay, how do you see yourself? Maybe married again. Maybe.
You're asking me?
Okay,
Okay.
maybe, right? You give me confirmation now, but financially in a better position, happier,
Right.
healed, stronger, not
Right.
triggered as much. Well, if you look at where you want to be and you start thinking about the things that you're going through now, it's like, oh, that's kind of the only way.
That's the only way. That's the thing about it. And I think that sometimes we're trying to like avoid the way to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we say, okay, I'm going to put everything down on paper. And you present, your vision to God and what it is that you want to do, right? But he's like, all right, cool. For me to take you there, I need to take care of that. And I think that for me, this is why I'm where I'm at right now. Now, it's not to say that I don't have great things that are happening to me in the midst of all that. And I feel like these are just his way of like sending me a signal that, look, these are the things that are in store for you.
Right.
Have a taste of it. See how it is to be loved and to be liked and for someone to respect you and for someone to cherish you. Good friendship, good friends, people that actually see so much worth in you. This is what it means. Oh, you just had this, you just spoke, you just did this public speaking. Look how many people you motivated, And so to me, it was like, okay, so I'm not worth like this nothing person.
Right.
And this is why, like, if you were watching a movie and you saw all of this, what we talked about, and then you saw me back sitting down in my house looking at my dad, my stepdad, this is why I don't do certain things. Because I'm looking at him like, one day I wake up, I'm like the best Christian. The next day I wake up and it wasn't the Christian side of me that woke up that day, right?
That one was on snooze mode.
Man, I was like, I'm just watching you, just one move. But these are the reason why. And I still tell myself I have a brother that I love so much. I don't even think he knows how much I love him, and that's
Mm-hmm.
his father. So for my brother, for my mother,
Yeah.
for my kids, because
Right.
they don't know him to be that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
their grandfather. They
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know. So it's almost like you're protecting everyone around,
Mm-hmm.
right? But at the same time, I'm protecting me. Like this
Right.
new version of who I'm going to become is who
Mm.
I'm protecting right
Right.
now.
Right.
So this old version has been there, and if it was old me, I'd probably be,
Way worse.
way
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
But because I'm trying to like, not that I'm designing myself, but I'm telling God, all right, cool. We gotta, this is clean slate.
Right.
This is what I want you to instill in me.
But why can't we say you did? Because that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
I mean, as children of God, God has
mhm.
given us the ability to create, to speak
Hmm.
things, and so you are designing
Well,
yourself.
I think that everybody likes to design something.
Okay. Okay.
Like everybody on their vision board, they have a
Mm-hmm.
house, they have a mansion, or they have a
Mm-hmm.
car they want
Mm-hmm.
to drive, or their bank account is there, or
Yeah.
how many children, the what the wedding is gonna look like.
Yeah.
But they don't have them on there.
Man.
And right now, if I could create a vision board, I just want to put a picture of me.
Ooh,
That's
that's
all it is that
good.
I want, and nothing else.
That's good.
Because I feel like if I were to put and I'm gonna do that. If I put a vision board, and I put a picture of me and the
Yeah.
words, characters,
Yo,
and
that's
traits,
yeah.
and that I want me to have.
Yeah.
This is what I want.
Yo,
This is what I want.
that's good.
So to me, it's so much more important because if I can allow God to, because I'm still alive,
Yeah.
right? If I could have him make me who he intended me to be from
Yeah.
my mother's womb before I messed up,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
then that's what I want to be. So I feel like in becoming that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna accomplish everything else that comes with
Yo,
it.
I love that because I've never heard that before. I've never heard someone say,
Mhm.
"I'm gonna do a vision board, and it's just me."
Just me.
And the thing people don't realize sometimes is if you did that and just worked on developing the qualities,
Correct.
you're right, everything comes.
Everything else
Okay, you
comes.
want to be a millionaire. Okay, so what are the
Mhm.
qualities that
Mhm.
millionaires have? You either have to be great at a skill,
Mhm.
you have to have a level of business acumen, you have to be disciplined with money.
Mhm.
So if you work on your discipline, that's gonna make you have money, learn the things that you need to learn.
Mhm.
It's gonna make you not blow money on crazy things. It's gonna also make you improve upon whatever craft that you have.
Mm.
So if instead of your vision board you put millionaire, you just put discipline, the discipline. Oh, that's so
Yeah,
good.
because think about it. Like now you're doing this vision board and you're putting all these things that you want, but
Hmm.
then within yourself, you're not even
And
ready
you're
for that.
thinking that you can get these things being the same exact way
Yeah,
that you
because you're
are.
you're speaking about manifesting things, right?
Right.
But you haven't manifested anything within yourself, man.
Woo!
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. You want this, you want that. Good. When you have it, what's gonna happen? Is that
Right.
gonna make you happy?
Right.
Yeah. Or if you're married, are you a better wife?
Right.
No.
And it happens so much. Like
It,
I see people who make the list and I want my husband to be,
yeah.
financially this and in
Yeah.
shape and this
Yeah.
and that. And
Yeah.
it's like you not in shape, you horrible with money, you
Exactly. I
can't
can't
even
expect, man, I cannot put any expectation on anybody
mm-hmm,
else
mm-hmm,
if I haven't done it for myself.
mm-hmm.
I can't come through and say, I need my man to like do this, and like, okay, I'm looking at you right now, and you, like, even if you came with $1 million, I wouldn't want you. So what
Depends on the person and the
I mean, I
circumstance.
understand, but like, okay, yeah, $1
Yeah.
million miserable for the rest of your life. Is
Ooh.
it worth it? No, it's not.
Right.
So for me, I'm like, I told God, I'm like, yo, for my next husband, make me his fantasy. I
Mm.
want to be his fantasy. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be classy when he needs me to. I want to be this business oriented person when we sit in business meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a freak in the night. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I'm the Christian girl, but I just want to be whatever it is that he wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that, and of course, I am myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
not taking away who I want to be for
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to be this person so that he doesn't find void in me
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and no missing parts.
right, right.
It's not to say it's going to be perfect, but I think that once you come like that and you're ready to like go at it with that person and just like make whatever his dream comes true,
Mm-hmm.
it's just gonna he's gonna want to do the same for me. So I'm really not sitting down trying to think about everything I want him to do for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't want to think like that right now. I know
Yeah.
some people are gonna kill me for
Yeah,
saying that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I want to be able to do for him.
And just to give you the disclaimer to have your back, right? When we talk about the manifesting and envisioning board
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes.
What ends up happening is you start developing certain qualities and you pay
Mhm.
attention to certain signs
Yeah.
that would not lead you to a man who would take advantage of that type of
Exactly. Of
mentality.
course.
It would allow you to find the right kind of person who
Mhm.
will complement that,
Mhm.
being, all right, you know what, and we a little, tangenting right now,
Mhm.
but it's like, okay, I'm married to this person who, like, all right, I'm trying to be 110% for you, but I know you're trying to be 110% for me. And
Exactly.
that's where you start to create something beautiful. I,
Mhm.
I just really love that concept of just visioning board yourself, man.
Yeah.
Like,
That's it. I think that this is the reason why it's been so hard for me to even put down a vision board, because then you end up having like a replica of somebody
yeah,
else's.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, they're driving this car, so you want to drive this car. They
Mm-hmm,
have this type of money in the bank account. You want to have that type of money in the bank
mm-hmm.
account. Okay, well, your journey is not that person's journey.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think for me, because I lost me
Yeah,
so long ago,
yeah.
that that's what I want to work on.
I love that.
I think that's just me. I'm not
Yeah.
asking anybody to do the same
No,
thing, but for
listen,
me,
that's good.
that's what I want to be. And I think that when I did that, mentally did it, s- great thing happened. I was
Mm-hmm.
able to come out myself more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care really what people. I mean, I care what you think, but I vocalize more what it is that I
Right,
think and that I
right.
believe. Now, you might not agree with me. We'll respect each other in it, but this is how I think,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it is. And so, and it's a lot of work into it. So,
Okay.
it's like eliminating all the bads, like the
Mm-hmm,
anger,
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
everything that comes with the depression or whatever
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
case may be. But then just adding words. Can you imagine, like, you have your picture, you put the fruit of
Yeah,
the spirit,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
attributes that you want to be as a woman.
Yeah,
Like, okay, whatever, like, you, and let God take you and remake you.
yeah. Mm-hmm,
Yo,
mm-hmm.
that's on
Oh,
another level
listen,
right
that's
there.
gold. I honestly, I know we could easily go for another
Yeah,
hour, but
yeah.
that right there is already heavy and weighty in itself,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like, I'm even afraid. I see sometimes it's like you make the meal and it's good, and then you
Right.
want to try add. It's like there's nothing to add. Like
No,
that,
nothing that.
that's good, right?
Yo.
Listen. I don't even mean to be abrupt, but we just gonna have to leave it right there. Cause what more do you
Woo.
need? It's like something as simple. Cause I'm on my after I was telling you I seen that Creed trailer. I was like, nah, I gotta get right for 33.
Right, right.
And it's like I could focus on, all right, I want to gain this many pounds. And it was just like, yeah, just be disciplined. Focus on healthy eating and being disciplined. And so
Mhm.
taking what you just said, okay, I put on a vision board. I'm disciplined. I eat healthy. Just that will get me to where I want to
Yeah.
go. Now, if I just focus on, oh, I want to get into this shape, well, I could. There's many ways I could get there, and or fail to get there. If it's the steroid route or cutting
Right.
corners, it's
Right.
like. But if I do it the right way, not only
Mhm.
do I get there in a healthy way, I'm building up as a person, and it affects other stuff.
Big time.
Because if I'm eating healthy, my family eating healthy,
Mhm.
and I think that's comes back to when we talk about you know the vengeance and forgiving and unconditional love, and it's like, okay, well, this trait that you're in, this process that you're in,
Mhm.
okay, what if we look at this as a seed, what are all the branches that it connects to?
Exactly. Not good stuff at all.
Well, yeah, the vengeance aspect of it.
Right.
But now if you're able to learn the lesson, which is
Correct.
forgiveness and
Correct.
love, then it's like, okay, from that branch
Mhm.
of love,
Mhm.
how does it start to affect the other
It's
things?
it's 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 gonna be beautiful. Can you imagine, like, me being able to be at peace with myself, even in the element of a storm or something
And
that I
maybe
can't
maybe you
control?
show 17-year-old you some grace, some love.
Right? Could do that.
You got to be gentle with her. She ain't know.
She should have known better.
She ain't
We're
know.
not gonna take that away
You
from
know
her.
better. She ain't know better.
Well, now I'm 40, yes, but let me tell you, if I could turn around, I'd probably slap her a few times. But no, honestly, I think that for me, I'm embracing it and I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying to myself, you know what? It was it was part of your journey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think, like you said, nothing happens by accident. And
That's
I
right.
think that sometimes God allow his children or his strongest warriors, right, to go through certain things in life. He allows it to happen. Not that
Right.
he wanted it to, but he was
Yeah.
like, I allow her to go through
Yeah,
this
yeah,
because
yeah.
later on is gonna be a pot of gold for me. It's gonna be so much more worth it because I'm gonna have so much to talk about, so
That's
much
right.
to instill in someone else. I have three
Right,
girls, you know,
right,
and
right.
I'm learning still. Like they teach me about me. Even my daughter, my 21-year-old, I say she's 21 because she's gonna be 21 in July. She tells me about myself, and I had to sit down like, you're right. I was wrong, and I'm sorry for that. You know, and I have to recognize that just because she's 21, guess what? She's making wiser and better decisions than I ever did in a
Right.
certain aspect because and I talk to my girls, so they know what I've gone through.
Yeah, yeah.
And they could tell me, Mom, see, you're letting this happen again. And so this is why I think, and I've never said it out loud because I thought it was like so corny to say I'm gonna put myself in a vision board. But when I'm talking to you about it, I'm like,
It makes so much sense.
it makes sense to me because why not? You
That
know,
it's like that's the thing everybody should be doing. You should do that first.
it's before anything
That's
else.
it.
Before anything else. So, you know,
Listen, y'all, there ain't much more to be said.
nothing
This
much.
episode, woo, I knew it was gonna be good, but then it got gooder. So we
This is
go.
what happened when you sit down with Asa, all right? He like peels layers that you don't wanna. Gosh, man.
Hey, listen, man. Shout out to Myrna for coming on the
Cool.
podcast.
Always.
Dope episode. Listen, I appreciate you. Love you guys. If you haven't already, like, subscribe. And listen, if you ain't shared no other episode, you got to share this one.
Yes.
This one is good. Put yourself on your vision board. Write those qualities. So many nuggets. Listen, we gonna catch you next time. Let's clap it up on SelzSpeaks. Peace.